Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Let me introduce myself. I'm Omkar, your host for this particular interview. First of all, I want to wish all of you a very happy new year from the entire Industry Inspire Talks team, and I hope that you all are doing well. I want to welcome you all to the 12th episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talks. Talking about interview series, it is a series where we invite people who have interned at companies and converted that internship opportunity into a pre-placement offer. Our guest for today's interview is Prajwal Singh. Talking about Prajwal, he interned with Gojek Tech for 2 months and also got a pre-placement offer from them. So the whole interview is all going to be about Prajwal's journey as a student to doing a lot of internships, contributing to college, participating in technical clubs, being a part of developer communities, to getting that internship opportunity to work for Gojek Tech, and finally getting placed as a full-time product engineer for them. So the whole interview is going to be interesting. Make sure to stick around. I hope that you learn something out of this video, which would help you in your specific career as well. So without wasting further time, let's just proceed towards the interview. Hello Prajwal and welcome to the 12th episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. How are you feeling right now?
Hey guys, so I'm Prajwal. I'm feeling quite energetic and a bit of anxious too because this is kind of my first interview, and I would be glad to share my experience with you.
That's great, Prajwal, and I'm also very much excited to talk to you about your experiences, the things you have been doing in college, and about your Gojek experience. Okay, so let's just quickly start with the interview. I want to first ask you, tell me something about yourself, what you do.
Okay, so I'm Prajwal, and I'm currently a final year student at IIIT Gwalior, and I'm pursuing computer science. So talking about my skills, I'm more like a developer than a coder. So I like exploring new technologies and building stuff. And apart from that, I'm in love with photography, traveling, and sketching sometimes. And yep, that's it.
That's great. Thank you for that quick introduction, Prajwal. I hope that right now the audience is knowing about what you do. Okay, so let's just quickly go on to the next question. I want to ask you, you mentioned you are doing computer science from ABV-IIITM college. Okay, so I want to ask you, can you describe your college life?
Yeah, okay. So my college life has been kind of a bit shaky and roller coaster ride. So, kind of a diverse experience. So when I came to college, the first thing which I thought that I don't want to be a person who is kind of stuck in his college room and is not exploring this stuff. So from the first year, I have been involved in many activities. Like I have been part of club from my first year to currently till fourth year, and also some developer communities, and doing internships, and doing a research internship under a professor too, and exploring the places near Gwalior, traveling, exploring the cafes. So yeah, kind of a diverse experience. Yeah, so
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, so like just like you mentioned, you are pursuing a computer science degree. So the next question I want to ask you is, describe your passion towards computer science.
From the very childhood, I was in love with building stuff. So when I was small, I used to build small buildings using the Lego blocks. So it was like I want to be an architect when I grow up. So but when I grew up, I explored this new field called computers, and from a young age I got a computer. So I just started using MS Paint, and and in the school also I was introduced to Java. So for the first time I saw like you can also build stuff using code and a language. So it was quite fascinating. So maybe I thought that it's more efficient a way to build something. And also in a computer science, the best thing is you don't need a lot of things. You just need a computer and internet, and you can learn almost everything. So it's free everywhere. So I think that is my passion for computer science, and I love building stuff.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so just like you mentioned now, you love building stuff. So I want to ask you, like, which is your favorite programming language? And if you tell me that programming language, I want to ask you, Why do you love it?
Yeah, so okay, so in my first year, I was not having any insight into a lot of programming languages. There are fixed few languages which we are taught in colleges, like C++ is must. So C++ was there for coding in my first year, but then I got introduced to JavaScript, and I think that is my best programming language, which I love because I was, as I said, that I love building things. So JavaScript is like you can use it to build the front end, you can use it to build the backend services, and you can also make a desktop app. So I think JavaScript is the one language which I'm in love with, and exploring the various frameworks which has like React, and building backend in Node, building desktop apps in Electron. So I think it is a very diverse language, and you can integrate it with various stuff too. Like you have to integrate machine learning APIs, and machine learning libraries are also coming, like TensorFlow.js, and you can also integrate it with blockchain. So you just need one single language to build everything. So I think that is the favorite language.
Yeah, I absolutely, I agree with you. Okay, so thanks for sharing that experience. Okay, so we'll go over to the next question. I want to ask you, like, so you are passionate about computer science. Okay, so did you build any projects in your engineering career?
Yeah, actually I built a lot of projects, and also I left a lot of unfinished projects too. So in my first year, I'll say I was not much into development. I was more like a coding person, because I got introduced to sites like HackerRank and HackerRank for coding. So it was a new world for me. Like, you have a question and you'll have to solve it. In the school, I was not having any such info, but in the college there are several clubs which get you introduced to such platforms. So I was completely involved in this thing only. But when I came to second year, using coding, you cannot show something to the others. Like it is not working. Like, you don't have anything to showcase. So I then got introduced to development, and it was a completely fascinating world for me because of my love for building things. So talking about the projects, my first project was kind of okay. So there's a event in a college, like winter project of code. So in that I built a website, a full stack website, completely from scratch. It was similar to Book My Show. Then proceeding towards my next few years, I started a lot of projects, but due to the initial, the energy, like I had to build something in this field, but I didn't finish them all. But there's one more project which we built during a hackathon. Like, it's kind of automated challan system in which you detect the vehicles using live video feed, and you detect their speed, and in case it is above a threshold, you just issue a challan. In this, we were combining various services, like a Python service for image recognition, central server for using a blockchain thing for issuing the challan, so that it is decentralized. So it was quite a diverse project, and we also won the third prize for that project. So I think that is one complete project. Also, I'm into building some IoT projects as well. So in my first year, I was doing a research intern under a professor. So I'll describe it later. Okay, so in BTech, we are required to do a mini project. And in that, we built a smart stick using Raspberry Pi and Pi camera ultrasonic sensors. So what it does is it is basically for blind people, so that they can see the things, kind of hear them out, what is in front of them. So you just use that stick, and there's a camera, so it detects in real time what is in front of them and how far it is, and it converts that image to a audio thing. And it was quite complete product in itself. So these are some of my good projects.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so it is very much interesting, all the three projects which you told me right now. Okay, and it's okay if you have some unfinished projects, you can finish them later. Okay, but the three projects which you told me right now, they would definitely make an impact. And like, thanks for sharing this insightful information on the channel. Okay, so we'll go over to the next question. So just like I shared, like we'll now go to the internships part, all the experiences which you have. So it's okay, like this much introduction is very much enough for the audience. So we'll quickly dive into the internship part. So just like you mentioned earlier, you were doing a research internship under a professor. So I want to go to that experience. I want to ask you, can you tell me about your research internship which you did with Neetesh Kumar, sir?
As I earlier said that when I came to college, I wanted more like a diverse life. So academic was one important part of it because I have to focus it from the first semester itself. So since I was having a coding background in my school, so I was quite good at it in my first year. And the professor used to notice it that I was quick in it, and so they just instead of being comfortable in that field, they I used to talk to them, and they used to guide me and introduce me to new stuff, like what are the various researches going on in the world. So one such professor was Dr. Neetesh sir. So during my at the end of my first year, he kind of contacted me, like there was a project which was approved under the Ministry of Science and Technology, I guess, from the central government, and they are kind of they wanted to build a system for traffic lights, like what we usually see, the traffic light timings are quite fixed, like if the lane is empty or it is filled, the traffic light is the timing is same, like 50 seconds, even if the lane is empty. So people are just uselessly waiting. So what we thought of building, like dynamically changing the time based on what is the traffic in the lane. So since I was in first year and I was doing only coding, so I didn't have any idea. But he quite kind of introduced me to image recognition stuff and Python. So it was quite fascinating for me to, like, we can do stuff like detecting a vehicle in an image, and detecting how many vehicles are in it. So that was my first introduction to developing something. So I in the summers we stayed while rest of the people were at home. So we stayed in the summers for 1 month, and it's quite hot in Gwalior, but I think it was worth it, because we got introduced to Raspberry Pi and Python and OpenCV, which we can use to detect things, and YOLO also. So we kind of built, we basically studied various algorithms which can be most efficient to run on Raspberry Pi, because Raspberry Pi is not very powerful processor, and we'll have to deploy it to various traffic lights. So you just have to use the most efficient algorithm. So we just brainstormed and came up various ideas, like instead of taking a live stream, we can just take a snapshot every 5-10 seconds for efficiency, and also exploring various algorithms. So that was my first experience, and it was quite nice. I just got introduced to building a stuff, like programming the software as well as deploying it on the Raspberry Pi, and also there was a camera installed, so working on both the hardware and software level. So I think that was very
that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so in just first year you got a lot of experience about development. Okay, and good, you stayed, you didn't go back to your hometown, you stayed with the professor, you worked hard towards developing the product, and like up till now the projects you shared with me, the product, like the research internships which you did, like it is very much important, and one must do that. And I'll tell you like why it is important in the further interview when I'm done with your discussing your internship experiences. Okay, so I'll just quickly go on to the next experience. Okay, so just describe your experience as a technical head for Uthaan IIIT.
Okay, so in my first year, so there are several clubs in the college, like there's a forum AASF, so that handles all the technical stuff, and there's a club called Uthaan, so it handles all the recreational and journalism and all the other stuff. So there was a photography department in the club, and as I said, I was very much into photography, and I clicked a lot of beautiful pictures in my 10th, 11th, 12th standard. So I there were competitions, so I posted them, and the seniors used to notice that there's a person that he knows how to use a DSLR, and in the first year it's a very big thing, like you have a DSLR and you know how to capture beautiful pictures. So but I was like, I don't have to I wanted to be a part of the technical department as well as that photography department. So when they interviewed me, they said, we'll put you in the photography, but you want to come in the technical, you can attend the sessions and everything. I used to attend all the technical sessions too. In that, basically, we were not doing something like programming or that, but we were more like into video editing, photo editing, and poster designing, everything. So that is because I have a kind of background in sketching too. So I love drawing things too. So it was kind of digital drawing things and designing something.
Yeah.
So I spent quite a lot of my time in first year using Photoshop and exploring video editing too. So yeah. So as it so slowly, when they saw that I was dedicated to the technical department, they just kind of made me a technical head in my second year. So I quite lead the technical team there, and we launched a lot of online series as well, like a similar series like How You Got Placed it is on a, I can share the link. So basically we interview all these seniors which are passing out, and they are placed in quite reputed companies. And we also launched the open mic series, and so the viewership is growing and everything. So it's quite different from the technical domain, but it's quite useful.
Yeah, but you were trying to build a community on college, right? By doing all these events, because the ones who are the students who are attending the college, who are newcomers, who are beginners, okay, who are your juniors, they can be helped by their experiences, and that's the purpose for which you started this like the series which you talked about right now, okay. And that's a very good thing. Like just being in college and contributing to academics wouldn't do anything in your career. You need to step out of your comfort zone and do such internships, be a part of communities, maybe lead communities, lead a team. So that would give you an actual experience about how things work in the industry. And thanks for all the things you've been sharing with us right now. It would definitely help the audience out. Okay, tell me.
There's one more thing I would add, like apart from the management stuff, the networking stuff, the networking part is very much important too. Like you get in contact with a lot of seniors, like even if you are a part of non-technical something, they contact you, and in case of any opportunities, and you'll be knowing prior to the second year, like what will be happening in the third year, and which elective should be choosing, and which company should we aim for, and getting contact of some HRs too. So the networking part is very important. Being a part of community, that is very important thing, that you should be a part of communities.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that point as well. Networking is very much important if you are a student and if you are getting into the job market. Okay, so without having a proper network, you cannot be nowhere. Even if you have skills which you have to showcase in the market, but if you are like if you want to grow your network, if you want to become successful in life, you must have a network of successful individuals. Like in your case, like networking with your seniors so that the juniors can be helped. Okay, so that advice which you shared, it would definitely help out other people as well. Okay, so some people might know about networking, but some might not know the advantages of networking and how it plays an important role in the job market. But this advice which you shared in the end would definitely help out. Okay, so like I'll quickly go on to the next experience. So this is kind of discussing your full stack experience. Okay, so I think that this is your first internship which you got. Okay, so I want to ask you, like, can you share your experience working as a full stack developer for ENAP?
Okay, so my first year was over, and things were already getting serious now. Like I don't have to do Photoshop and video editing for the rest of my years. So I started to look, because there's a major internship in my third year. So you have to prepare for it. You cannot just have projects. You must have internship prior to that. So I was really looking forward to some backend and full stack interns. So there's a website called Internshala, and through that I got in contact with the company ENAP. So what it does, it is quite based in Mumbai, and it is run by duo brother and sister. They work at JP Morgan. So what it does, like it basically, instead of purchasing things, you can rent them out. Like you are going on a trip or somewhere, so you don't have a DSLR, you can just rent it out for 3-4 days. Or there is a wedding or something, and it's a very expensive dress of 15, 10, 20,000, but you can just rent it out for 2-5,000. So kind of an e-commerce website, but it was more like a renting shop. So in my full stack, because the site was still at the initial stages, so I built some core stuff in it, like a calendar component for booking the stuff from starting and ending date, and handling the inventory. Like if it is not available in between a certain range of dates, you should not be able to select that range. And also designing the checkout cart and products page, like similar to what Amazon and Myntra has. So yeah, it was quite a good experience. And most importantly, I believe, like when you have to learn a new technology, either you can do a project or do an internship. So but in internship, you just learn a lot of things in a duration of 1 to 2 months. And projects, you may, as I said, that I left a lot of unfinished projects. So it's totally up to you. If you are very dedicated, you can learn from a project. But from my point of view, an internship is quite has 2+ point, like it adds to your CV as well, and you can just learn. So I learned React from the internship. So the work was mainly in React, and also I did some backend service APIs too, in Node.js. So it was quite good experience, and my first internship. So yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Okay. So it would just like you shared, just one more thing, like the internship and the project which you are talking about. Okay. One can also, like, the projects are of two types. One project is what you are coding, that is kind of a group project or mini project. And the second project is participating in open source. Okay. Building open source projects. So that is a point I might want to add, and like I have a question related to that in the next, I'm going to ask that next question to you. Okay, so you were part of WorldScript Summer of Code. Okay, so I want to ask you, like, how was your experience as an open source developer for that?
Okay, so having done one internship and exploring the communities, the next step, should be the next step. So a lot of seniors suggested I should try open source. And I also was quite new to the world of open source. Like I looked up some open source repository, and they seemed very complex. So I just left them because they were too complex, and you had that inferiority complex, like no, this is too advanced for me, and I won't be able to learn. But there was a program called WorldScript Summer of Code. So it was the best thing was it was for beginners as well. So since I was quite good in development, but I was not introduced to the open source world, so I was kind of in a dilemma. But I just tried it anyway, and I got selected. And it basically ranged from, I guess, March to May. And that is, as I said, for doing an internship, my purpose was to learn some technology. I wanted to do this open source thing too, so that I may learn Golang and brush up my skills in JavaScript as well. So I basically chose 2 projects. One was in Golang and one was in JavaScript. So it was quite nice experience. The best thing about open source is, like, you learn new designing practices and how some coding is done. Because in your personal project, you may just do it anyway. Like there's no foundation, like you have to do it just in a certain way. But in open source, you have to follow the community guidelines, and you have to raise the PRs in a certain manner, and be a part of discussion, like what should be the best way to do something. So the open source experience was quite learning, and yes, due to the open source thing, I learned Golang as well. So yeah, it was quite nice, and also I came out as a major project contributor in one of the projects. So yeah, it was a win-win for me.
That's great. So, like, with what I understand is like all the experiences which you have shared with me right now, you are learning some technology or the other which is new in each experience. Okay. So in full stack, you learned about React. In this open source project, you learned about Golang. Initially, when you are working with the professor, you got into OpenCV and machine learning. So like it's great to do projects. It's great to do all the stuff you've been doing. Okay, it's great to experiment with those 4 years of your engineering career, because you just have 4 years to experiment. After that, it's up to you. You have to get a job, or maybe like if you are a startup person, you get into a startup and you start working. So these are just 4 years like of your education, of your engineering, where you can try and try things out. Okay, learn new things, and that is very much important. And that most of the students are not into that. They just according to what I have seen in my college, there are students who just focus on academics. They don't focus on doing internships. They when they are forced by the faculty, when they are forced by the professor, they try to go on and do an internship just because it's required. Okay, they don't feel the need of doing it from himself. Okay, they are just like, I'll get a good package if I get a good CGPA, and if I have 1 or 2 projects or maybe an internship. Okay, so that should not be one's outlook. It should be like that. The journey which you shared with me, the things which you have been doing right now on college, one must be like that. Okay, and thank you for sharing that. It would definitely help out the audience. So I'll quickly go on to the next question. I want to ask you, do you think developer communities help us in improving our coding skills? And if yes, then why?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, as you said that you should experiment with stuff, and you learn new technologies while experiencing things and doing internship as well. So developer communities are something like that, because on a individual level we are quite limited. Like some patterns are set in our mind, like how to do this, how to build this, and but in a developer community there are a lot of individuals, and they have their own set of experiences. So you get to learn from them, like choosing the best of both, like what is yours and what is best from their side as well. So it quite leads to a beautiful growth, and learning the new resources. Like it's quite a new world out there. Like the individuals have a different set of practices and everything. So you just quite get introduced to a lot of new things. So developer communities are very important, and you should be a part of them. And basically people just think that they don't know enough, so they just don't step forward to be a part of them, and thinking that we will learn first and then become a part of it. But basically you have to be a part of it to learn. So I would suggest people to be a part of developer communities, and maybe not on a big scale, but even at a small group scale, like even in your batchmates who are just passionate about something, just discuss some things and do a group project or something. And also you have to look at the long run. You don't have to aim at just finish the college, get a good placement, and it will be over. No, you have to focus on learning new things, like learning to learn something. Like, because in the industry we know that every 4 or 5 years languages get changed, and practices get changed. So you don't have to be rigid and stuck to something, like doing something from the first year in the same language, and being in a comfort zone. You just have to keep experimenting, because life is quite defined as an you can say it is an experiment, and there are risks. You have to take it. So
absolutely. Try out new things, do new things, learn new things. Okay, like keep learning every day. It's what I feel. It's what I believe. Okay, like just now I am shooting this podcast with you. Okay, interview series with you. I'm learning from your journey. I'm learning something or the other. Okay, so you should keep networking with people, keep learning new things, keep participating in such coding competitions, doing internships. This is what is making you industry ready. This is what is giving you the industry knowledge which you need and which could be used later in the industry. Okay, and thanks for that, the information which you shared, the advice which you gave. Thank you so much. Okay, so the next question I want to ask you is, describe your experience working as a co-organizer for GDG Gwalior.
I guess this was after I got the intern at Gojek. So I'm a kind of person who don't like to sit and do something productive apart from, watching TV series and movies. So, and coincidentally at that time, GDG Gwalior got inaugurated as well. So I was kind of part of it from the very, very beginning. And I have been a part of the developer communities in the initial stages, but I was more on the learning side. So I just thought, let's be on the mentoring side and just give insight of my experiences and give back to the community. So but COVID hit and everything went virtual. So it was having things in offline mode and in person are much more impactful. But we arranged quite a number of talks, be it blockchain, be it Android, and web development as well. And we invited a lot of guests as well. But it was not much. You don't have that feeling of a community. So I was kind of part of it for 1 year, but I thought also I couldn't give much time to it, so I just moved on. And but it was quite a great experience, meeting with budding developers and just resolving their myths. And there are a lot of myths in the developer community, like you'll have to be a pro to do something, and open source is such a last thing. The same thing which I had. So it's quite good to break those myths and just instill the confidence within the new developers and students, and also getting exposure to new technologies and get some swags as well. So I think it was quite a good experience. Yep.
Yeah, so I agree with the developer communities part as well, and with this GDG group, like you are part of GDG Gwalior. Okay, so it's okay if you are inactive enough, but with what I assume, you have done a lot of things in your entire engineering career. Okay, starting from first year. Okay, and that is pretty much enough to be listed on the CV. Okay, and like you can do more if you want. Okay, now right now if you get placed at Gojek, if you want to still contribute, you can do it, because helping the community every time is very much like, I feel blessed of running this series, doing this initiative for students, because I was a student at some time. I was struggling with this industry knowledge. Okay, I was not having the correct industry knowledge, but you as our guest, okay, and like others whom I have interviewed, okay, these people have experience and they can share it. Okay, and I believe that this experiences, this kind of insightful talk with you and with others who are going to come on this platform later, it would definitely help out the students. So just keep contributing. If you want, you can. If you don't want, if you just want to focus on your career in like growing in your career in terms of like roles, okay, in future, you can do that. You can focus on that. Okay, but the things which you have shared now, they are very much inspirational. They gave a lot of insight into like how a student should perform. Okay, if he is a student, what all things he should do, what all things he should not do. Okay, and thanks for sharing that. So I'll just quickly go on to the next experience. I want to ask you, describe your experience as a winner for AASF Winter Project Competition, and if you have any other achievements to share with us, you can share it.
Yeah, so okay, so as I earlier said in the podcast, like we have something like a winter of code, ASF Winter of Code, So in that, basically, it was a new initiative, basically pairing up a team of students and a mentor. The mentor would be a senior, and you just develop a project under them, and you just learn from them, like what are the best practices and the technology as well. So this happened in my first year, and it was in the winters. So it was my first experience at developing a you complete website, as I described earlier, the movie booking website. So it was done under this winter of code. And the when I was presenting the website, the seniors were very fascinated, like have you done all this on your own? And because I was a single person in my team, I didn't pair up with someone. And the seniors were fascinated, like did you do this on your own? And oh, you have made everything from scratch. And I was like yep, and I enjoyed it. So they just awarded me the first prize. And it's getting something, and which you are putting efforts and also learning it. And so it's quite a happy moment, like you get rewarded for what you have
Absolutely.
done. And that project, it has played a very important role in my interviews as well, because several of the interviews, they find that project quite interesting, and they ask a lot of questions from it. Like there are a lot of questions which I'll be describing later. So that the project is it has helped me from the very first year to the last year currently. So yeah, I was a winner in it. And apart from it, there were several events like painting competitions, photography competitions. So I won several of them in my college level, as well as some MHRD competitions as well. So yeah, I was good in sketching too. So I sketched some of the important portraits, and it was displayed on the college auditorium, on the inauguration ceremony. And so yeah, that was all in my first year. In my second year, I got some more focused in the academic and technical side. So yep.
Great. Okay, so here we like wrap up with the experience part. Okay, so up till now, the episode is going very much good. I am learning a lot of new things about you. Okay, and like the way we started, the awkwardness we had, that awkwardness is not right now. Okay, we are very much free with like in terms of like having this conversation. And like, to be honest, you have done a lot of things, and like sharing this, listing this, all these experiences in this episode, it would help some person or the other. Okay, and thanks for doing that. So we'll dive into the main topic, that is your internship experience, your interview experience, for which the audience is waiting. Okay, so I'll just quickly ask you about that. So the first question I want to ask you is, did you ever thought of getting into Gojek Tech?
Okay, so I think that is the question I was expecting. And the story is quite interesting. So what happened? So in our college, the internship season basically starts from July. It is at the end of second year, in the beginning of third year. So in second year summers, we were doing a mini project, the smart stick, which I told, like for blind people. And it ended in July, and we were informed that companies will be coming for internships. So we were like, oh, we didn't have any time to prepare for them, and also refresh the coding skills and interview skills required. So at first Amazon came, and we sat in the coding test, and some test cases were not cleared, so I didn't got shortlisted. And after that, there was a large pause of companies. So we were quite demotivated, like, oh, now how we will get the internship? And the season has already begun, and in other colleges company were already coming, and our friends from other colleges were getting internships. So it was quite stressful situation. But then I got informed that Gojek will be coming. And I remember in my first or second year, I saw a senior. He was quite a reputed senior in our college, and he also got internship at Gojek. And I'm quite fascinated with the t-shirts and logos of company. So the Gojek logo was quite interesting, and I heard the name for the first time, and I researched about it, and I came to know, oh, there is a company, like it is a combination of Ola, Swiggy, Paytm, Book My Show, and everything combined in a single app. It is a super app of Indonesia. So I was like, okay, this is a very nice company, and the culture is great. We just hear that the Gojek culture is very, it's more like a startup culture, though it's not a startup anymore. It's quite 10 billion plus valuation, but culture is kind of startups, and there are several startups running within Gojek. So the culture is quite the kind of cool culture, and I always wanted to be part of a such company, instead of becoming a part of a large MNC or something in which you get just forgotten or lost in the crowd. So I just wanted to given a lot of responsibility, so that I can just, in my initial years, I can just learn a lot of things, and building things from scratch, and in the industry as well. So Gojek was the company, and I think the question was, did I ever thought of getting into Gojek? So it was my dream company from second year. But I studied when I was researching for Gojek. I came to know that they just hire people who were very much into open source and have cracked Google Summer of Code. So I didn't have those achievements, so I was quite demotivated. But when the results came, and that is a very interesting story I will tell, and results came, it was kind of a dream come true. So I never thought of getting into it, but it turned quite the opposite.
It's okay to dream, okay. And the things which you shared in the previous interview, all those experiences, the open source contribution, internships and projects, okay, that things were building you for this opportunity which is currently you are into, okay. And everything happens for a purpose, okay. Whatever you are doing, you are like building your career in the end, okay. And everything is useful, everything, to let you know, everything is useful. And thanks for that answer, okay. So I'll quickly go on to the next question. I want to ask you, how did you get this internship opportunity with Gojek Tech?
Okay, so as I told that Gojek was visiting our campus, and several of our alumni are placed in the company as well. So it visited on campus, and we were informed about it some, I think 15 days prior. So we just started preparing and just researching about the company and what things are required to get into it. And it was quite a large company, so you get a lot of nervousness and anxiousness, like whether will I be the one in this student community, in the students of 100, 200, 500. So
will I get placed or not? Will I get placed or not?
Yep.
So everyone has that fear of, but if you have that belief, if you have that dedication towards your goal, nobody can ever stop you in doing that, okay. Let me tell you, if you are dreaming to get into Gojek from first year, second year, and you are preparing for it for the rest of the year, you'll definitely get it, okay. And you got it. So that is just a example I wanted to give, okay. And it's not in this scenario, in the Gojek scenario, but it could be anything, any field, any branch, anything. If you have dedication, if you are dedicated enough towards your goal, you'll definitely achieve it, let me tell you. And you did it in your journey, okay, Prajwal. So so this internship opportunity you got like from your campus, okay. I want to know about your interview experience with Gojek, okay. So can you tell me about like the rounds and everything, the entire interview experience in detail?
Yep. Okay. So when we were informed about the company, we just started preparing for it, and finally the date came when the company was visiting, and so everything was set, and we had to be present. We have to be present in our formals. So it was a funny scenario where we were arranging the formal shoes and the coat from our seniors and batchmates as well. So yeah, there was first a presentation kind of thing in the auditorium. So at that time they showcased a video of the company and how it operates. So it was quite cinematic, and you get motivated, like, okay, so this is a big deal, and you have to take this seriously, and in case you miss this opportunity, you will regret a lot. So that was the kind of thing. So there was first technical kind of coding round. So in that there are, I guess, 30 MCQ questions and a coding question. And the MCQ questions are comprised of core computer science subjects like DBMS, C, and operating systems, algorithms, and kind of that was a MCQ. But the time was very limited, so you have to be fast. And the coding question was somewhat easier, and also we have to submit our CVs. So the shortlisting was kind of combination of how you performed in the online coding test as well as the CV which you have. So I was quite lucky, I may say lucky, and also I had a good CGPA above 9, so I got shortlisted in the first round. And after the coding test, we were just waiting in our rooms and just wishing like I may get shortlisted or I may not, and just preparing as well as giving up at the same time. So when the name was announced that I have qualified for the first round and I have to appear for the in-person interview, so it was very, the heart beats got very faster, and you have to rush to the TNP cell for the interview. So getting all the document done, and the rushing to the TNP cell for that. So that was the kind of experience in the first round. So coming on to the in-person interview round. So okay, so when I reached the MTP center, the place where interviews were happening, I was waiting and asking the seniors which already gave the interview, like what is like and what are they focusing on and stuff. But soon my name was called, so I didn't get much information. So the interviewer came and he was our alumni as well. So I just talked a bit, some informal stuff as well, like the college stuff which you talk to a senior, and finally the interview started. So okay, so I'll give a rough idea of the interview which happened. So basically there was an intro part, and then he told me to choose my best internship, and I had to describe it and what challenges I had in it and what I learned from it. Then he went on to my best project. That was the movie booking project which played an important role. So I had to describe what the project does and how to optimize stuff more better. And then we went on to coding questions, and that I kind of did it well, and optimize it as well. Then then started the the system design part, where you have to design a system. Like I was asked to design my movie booking system. So since I did that same project in my first year, so it was I had the prior experience of doing that, and also I revised it somewhat. So I just glanced it, so I started, and they start grilling, like getting more and more detail, like how to do this, how to handle concurrency, and how to handle scalability, and how to what should be the primary key, what should be the foreign key, and you have to be in brief with all the concepts, and also not panic at the same time. So it was quite a scary experience, but I got through it, and I didn't lose my calm. So I kind of performed okay. And then, since I was having 3 internships and projects, as well as CGPA was good, so he was quite impressed. And then he asked about my other stuff which I did during apart from the technical things. So since I said that I was part of communities and other stuff, so and also the series which we launched, and the photography department as well, so I had a lot of things to tell. So yeah, it went quite good. And the interview was unusually a bit longer than the other candidates, so I think that was a positive flag for me. And at the end, I asked some stuff about Gojek and how it works and how it handles. So Gojek handles millions of orders per second, and there are a lot of 3 million driver partners, and handling stuff on such a large scale, it's quite challenging. And since I was so much into building things, I was fascinated by how they handle it and on a day-to-day working. So the conversation was very fluent, and yeah, it went very nice.
Yeah, and you got selected for the internship in the end.
Yeah, no, actually what happened, so there are so there is a one coding test in the beginning, and 2 interview have to be done. And my first interview was done, and I went back to the hostel having my dinner. It was kind of 9:30 or something, and I was quite sure that I may crack to the second interview, because yeah, it went quite long and the senior was impressed too. So I was just having my dinner and just thinking about what should I prepare in the second round. It should be more focused on this system design part and everything. So I just went back to my room, and I was very tired because it was happening from the morning. So I just closed my eyes, but I wasn't able to rest. The things were going, and I started to realize, oh, the interview went very bad, and I answered everything not correctly, several mistakes, there were several red flags, and I don't know when I slept. So at 2 a.m. The mobile LED was blinking, and I just woke up, and I saw that there were flooded messages on my mobile phone, like congratulations. So I just thought that who congratulates on cracking to the second round? So I'll have to give the second round. But the message was like I was selected after the first round itself, because they were quite impressed, and they selected 2 people. One was me and one was a 5-year senior. So they selected 2 people after the first round itself. So it's kind of वो जज्बात पलट गए, दुनिया पलट गई एक झटके में.
Yeah, it's pretty much impressive, Prajwal. And yeah, so the whole process which you shared with me, so like you initially at the end you got the internship, but you were very much anxious and nervous about it, and hopefully you cracked it. Okay, so I want to go to the internship experience. Okay, so I want you to share your internship experience with Gojek Tech. You are like an intern for them, a product engineering intern for them for 2 months, and like I want you to describe like if it is in the pandemic, like how was the remote internship, and if it is in office, like how was their experience, like if it is in office, like where were you placed, and like a lot of the stuff like that.
Okay, so after getting the internship, it was quite a dream come true. So we just start googling the office and the prior internship experiences of people who have done it. So you just read it and you kind of imagine the stuff which will be happening with you next year, and it's quite a very great experience of doing that. And finally the day came, but before that there was a pandemic, so everything was closed, and we were quite tense because companies were rescinding offers, and we were thinking like we will not be able to do it in office. But at Gojek, doing an internship in the office is the best thing which you can have. But we were not getting it, so quite nervous and quite scared too, because just in case it doesn't cancel it. but everything went out to be fine, and we just started the date which was allotted to me. That was May 18, and it was in between of the pandemic. So the first day, it was I had one-on-one with my engineering manager, and he introduced me to the team, and so I was basically a part of driver platform team. So the driver platform team, what it does is basically they handle the driver side. Like there's a client side and there's a driver side. So you handle all the features on the driver side, and develop things which may be helpful to the drivers. So that was quite interesting team and quite core team of Gojek, because their drivers are common and in all the services. So it was quite a good experience. And being a product engineer, since I had to work in Golang and developing backend services as well. So the team was very helpful, and it's the 2 month journey. It's if I go on to share everything, it would be very long. So that is also compiled a blog.
Just keep it short. Keep it short.
So there were a lot of incidents which happened where I accidentally pushed onto the main master branch and deployed it on the integration server by mistake, and that too at midnight. And also the team is very great. So that as an intern, you feel very pressurized, like, because you have to perform well and also aim for a PPO, like to get converted. And the mistakes like this, you get very tense, and that too at midnight, like what to do. And I may get some negative points or something, but it's quite chill, and everything went quite well.
So you had an amazing internship experience. Even if it is remote, you enjoyed, you felt connected with Gojek every time. Okay, and that's great. So then the next question I want to ask you is, what were your roles and responsibilities as an intern? How many hours did you work for them, and what was your initial plan which you had in your mind, working plan?
Okay, so I remember in my first one-on-one with my engineering manager, he asked me whether what would I love to work on, like developing a single service, or developing a product itself, like from the scratch, like experiencing a complete product life cycle. So obviously I would choose the complete product life cycle, because you just get insight into all these stages of product development. And I guess I was given such a project in which I had to do a bit of research, sit with the business team, and know what are the requirements, and formulate them into technical requirements, and then start breaking the requirements into stories and stuff, so that you can just work on it part by part, and finally deploying it, and then receiving feedback, and then improving it again. So the experience was quite very great. The thing which I was promised, like experiencing a complete product life cycle, it really happened. And I, in the end, basically I built some of these full stack features in the project, or in the dashboard I was working on. So it was quite great, and the team was impressed, and I also presented it the features in the town hall meeting. So there's a meeting in which all the business people and also the CTO, CEO, CFOs come. So it is a bi-weekly meeting or something. So we just have to showcase what we have developed. So as an intern, developing something and also deploying it, it was a great achievement for me, and everything went great. And it was quite a learning experience.
Great. Okay, and so thanks for sharing that. Okay, so the next question would be related to our internship, and that is the last question related to internship. So if you were given to describe your whole internship experience in one word, what would it be?
Okay, so I would say it was a roller coaster ride.
Roller coaster ride. Great. So yeah, so you talked about your team, how they helped you, how they supported you. Like even at night, if you were like doing some mistakes, they were there to back you up. They were there to help you. They were there to guide you. So I want to ask you, like from your perspective, like what is the work culture? Like how is the work culture at Gojek Tech?
Okay, so the work culture is, I would share an experience which happened with me. So since I pushed something by mistake on the master branch, at that too at the midnight. So the next day, my EM messages me that you don't have to work at the night. You don't have to burn out, else you will get a burnout or something, because you don't have to overwork. So I think that quite explains what the culture at Gojek is like, because they focus on the mental health and your physical health as well, being a starter. And the EM also inspired me and motivated me to learn some other things, and reading books and watching something reading books and watching some series and podcast, and quite being a diverse instead of just focusing on engineering and things. So the culture is quite great. Everyone is really helpful, and you get to interact with a lot of people. They are not from India, some are from Indonesia, some are from Singapore. So the adjusting with the time zones as well. I missed my first meeting due to a time zone difference. The time was of Indonesia, and I thought it is from Indian Standard Time. So I was, I guess, 30-40 minutes late, and that was quite an experience. So it's a quite diverse team, and you get to learn and meet a lot of diverse people.
Great. Yeah, so thanks for sharing that. Okay, that would help out the audience. So the next question I want to ask you is, what skills are required to convert that internship opportunity into a PPO at Gojek Tech?
Okay, so since it was my dream company, so a lot of things were on stake, right? You don't have, my batchmates were also very much into it, like he will convert it to the PPO. So there's a lot of pressure, so to perform very well so that you get converted, especially in the time of COVID, when there were layoffs going on and the hiring was on freeze. So I think that was quite an achievement, because in Gojek also the hiring was on freeze, and converting interns into full-time employees for the next year, it was very during a range of time it was on freeze. So the skills which I would say, like you have to be connected to people, the engineering manager and the developers, and I would say you don't have to be an engineer, like you don't have to be only coding and just submitting your work. You have to be learning at the same time, as well as you should have presentation skills, you should have communication skills, you should have the skills to explain stuff to people so that they may get you what you are trying to convey. So I think those skills helped me a lot. At the end of my internship, so there's a presentation on the things which I did, and it went quite well, and the team was impressed. So I think these things also play a lot very important part. And I remember the EM said to me, like the work which you have done, we didn't expect it this much from you, but you did quite well. Also you did presented it quite well, and you were quite confident in it. So I think you have to be a complete package so that the company may value you. And I remember after 1 month in the internship, the head of engineering was quite impressed with me, and he said that we want him next year. Like so I was quite very excited, like okay, after 1 month only he's saying like I may get converted. So that was the thing.
Just one more thing I want to add. One more thing I want to add to the skills, like by the point you said right now, I might want to add that you must create your presence in that company. Okay, they must feel the need to have you instead it's the other way around. Okay, like you having them, like it should not be like that. It's a perfect example in your case. Okay, the work you have been doing from the past, like working at Gojek Tech, like doing his internship, taking up this internship, like investing time in bigger projects. Okay, helping the company succeed in their like whatever initiatives they are planning, and helping them so that they feel the need to take you and you get the PPO. So that is the awesome answer, like very good answer you gave. Okay, thank you for doing that. Thank you for sharing that. It would help out other people as well, other students as well who are aiming to get into Gojek Tech. Okay, and thank you for doing that. So the next question I want to ask you is, can you give some tips or advice for future aspirants who are hoping to get into Gojek Tech?
Okay, so Gojek is kind of a company which doesn't, you don't have to be a competitive programmer or something. There are a lot of companies which focus only on the competitive coding skills, but Gojek is kind of a company which focuses on, you developing something, like what decisions you make and why you make it, and do you realize like what are the best practices, and designing things, system design and product design and database designing. So it is more into the development part. So if you are good at development and you have done projects and you are active in open source communities or have done some open source like GSOC or GSSOC or these things I think favor like you getting into a company. And you can also apply off campus to Gojek, and they are quite cool in like accepting you, and you just going through your profile, and there's a series of interview rounds and pairing rounds and take home assignments. So having passed all that, you will successfully get into the company, and the culture is quite cool. So yeah, I would suggest maintain a good developer profile and be active in open source communities, have a lot of achievements. Yeah, I would say have a lot of curiosity and learning, curiosity to learn and experiment and automate things and this. So they would definitely want to.
Absolutely.
If you have these things.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so just 2 or 3 last questions, and we wrap up with this interview. I know it's been long, but just bear with me for just 2-3 questions. Okay, and we are just done with it. Okay, so I want to ask you, like, what is the future scope of product engineer / product engineering in the job market?
Okay, so a lot of people don't know about this role, like product engineer. They have heard about software engineers, but product engineering is a kind of a new term. So a product engineer is basically a person who is involved in a product from the very beginning. Like you just kind of study the needs of a market, like and formulate it into a product, and just develop the best software, best languages, best framework you'll use for developing it, and then finally deploying it to production, and getting feedback and maybe iterating it again. So it's a complete life cycle of a product, and you get involved in all the stages of it. So that is the role of product engineering. And I think it has quite a wide scope, because engineers sometimes they don't love to only be involved in the development part. They have to see the impact the product does, and the thing which the society needs, which the customer needs. So being involved in that stage, I think the engineers would love to do that. And it basically connects you more to the customers, and developing a product for them. When you know your customers, it's quite a another experience, and you get more engrossed in developing that thing. So I guess the product engineering field is it will quite boom it.
So because the field is new, like a lot of students, a lot of people don't know about it, but like with what I get from your perspective is like taking it from the customer and delivering it to the client. So that is what the whole process of developing it, planning it, preparing the design, it's all done by the product engineer, and there is a lot of future scope for it as well in future. That's great. Okay, so this is kind of a question, like which is depicting your entire journey. So I want to ask you, like, who were your biggest supporters in your career journey up till now?
Okay, so my biggest supporter. So I would say in my college there have been a lot of people at the several stages of my life who have been my greatest supporters. Like as I said, there were some professors who used to inspire me and motivate me to learn something, and don't have to focus only on the academics part. You have to be involved in what's going on in the outside world. And there were friends who shared some common passion. There were some juniors who are quite diverse, so I get to learn a lot from them. You don't have to have that superiority complex, like you are a senior, you can't learn from a junior, but they are quite talented people out there. So you don't in the especially in the engineering field and developer field, you have to just be kind of a learning mindset instead of having that superiority. So yeah, some juniors and yeah, friends. Yeah, I would say. And I was more on my own. So I would say YouTube also was a supporter, because I uh, kind of experienced the life of other people through that. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's kind of.
So thanks for sharing that. So the next question I want to ask you is, that is going to be our last question, and I want to ask you, like, you got placed into Gojek, you have an amazing journey you shared on this in this specific episode. So do you want to give some words of motivation to our audience?
Okay, words of motivation. I would say I had a wallpaper in my mobile which said that if you truly want something in your life, the universe conspires you to have it. So it quite turned out to be true in my case also, and have proven to be true in several stages of my life. So I would say that don't believe like something is impossible. Uh, if you truly want it, it will happen. You just have to keep working for it. And something also I would like to add, like you don't do stuff for the sake of getting something in return. Like you don't do a project to earn something, to just get immediate results. You just keep on doing things, and the dots will connect. I think this was said by Steve Jobs as well. Like the dots kind of connect in the future. So yeah, you just have to do the things. Like it happened in my case of doing a image recognition project or movie booking project, and it kind of quite compiled in my interview, which turned out to be a good experience. So I think I would suggest people to do this.
And just
and
trust
don't
the process.
just think.
Just trust the process, whatever you are going through right now, and just believe that everything would be all right one day. Okay. And thanks for that. Thanks for that motivation. Okay, it would definitely motivate our audience who are watching you right now. Okay, and like with this, I would like to wrap up with the interview, and I want to personally thank you once again for your time, for your knowledge, and for sharing your journey on this platform. Okay, and thank you so much for doing it. Okay, and I want to wish you best of luck for all your future endeavors, for everything you'll going to achieve in life in future. I want to give you best wishes for everything you do in life. You'll definitely do good in life, because you have kind of that mindset, you have a goal, and you are willing to work hard, and you are not expecting anything in return. You just want to help the community, help the society, and do what you are good at doing, and that is developing products and helping the society. And thank you so much, Prajwal, for this amazing interview. I really enjoyed it. I really learned a lot of new things, and thank you so much, bro, for doing it.
Yeah, thank you. I was also, I would quite appreciate you having me on this episode. And also, I would like to suggest the viewers, they may connect with me on my LinkedIn, and in case they want some help, and I'm quite active on it these days. So yeah, I would suggest people to reach out to me in case they need any help, and also I would love to discuss some opportunities. So, yep. That's
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Yeah. And if you are watching the video up till now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to this channel. Also reach out to Prajwal. I'll mention the links to his social handles in the description box below. So do check it out. Do reach out to him if you have any questions related to getting placed at Gojek. If you want some coding assistance, if you need some guidance, you can reach out to him on LinkedIn. And thank you for watching, everyone. I hope that this helped you out. Okay. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next episode of interview series with another person from the industry who is there to inspire you. Until then, keep learning, keep inspiring, keep growing. Thank you.